Hey guys, we are doing ReZero Blue. It's been a whirlwind of events for all involved. Myself, Tim Tom here, and well, I guess stuff has happened for Solid MB. I think it's mostly he's been drunk, but either way, those are the two with me, and we're just gonna jump straight in because even though we're doing this really late compared to the other two, you're probably not hearing any difference. So. First card, Emilia, Pure and Innocent. This is a, well, it's a 1/5, but it's a 3/5. You have five or more cards in hand. So if you play it turn 1, unless you're going full, full rush, then it's going to be a 3/5. And then it also has the clause of the ability to run to center. So your opponent needs to have 2 cards that can beat a 3/5 in order to get rid of this. And it's very rare that they're going to have 2 cards that will straight up beat a 3/5 and not trade. And this does not have any other requirements in that it has to be alone on the field or whatever. So if you feel this with support or something, then chances are this is just a really solid level 0 turn 1 play that's probably not going to die. What do you guys think?
Yeah. The drawback this profile is when the opponent starts and just plays something to center, this loses the runner functionality of the card. So it's just an oversize at that point.
Yeah, but that requires your opponent
only if your opponent is playing in a prescient way where they play a card in the center, and that's not necessarily correct in a lot of instances. Like if you're playing against
you're playing against ReZero doesn't have like cards to specifically power center except for the Betty Brainstorm.
Yes, they do. They have several cards that do that. They might not be good cards, but they exist. Like there are yellow cards in the.
What's more common, the opponent running this or the opponent running some shitty yellow Crouch Brainstorm?
Oh well, I don't see very many people running ReZero these days at all, so I have no idea. The point is that your opponent has to do something specifically to try and play around this. And even if they do that, then you have a 3/5, and a 3/5 is an oversized requirement. Like it's an oversized quality by itself. So even if it isn't a.
What did we rate mill runners?
Oh, I always gave them a B.
Maybe a B plus. Is worse than the mill runner.
I think I usually give them a B plus. So.
I'd probably give it a B plus too. Yeah. I mean, sure. If you call it worse than a mill runner, I think that's fine. I own no copies of this card, and I've been fine without it. So there you go. It's pretty unanimous though. It's a pretty formidable turn 1 play. Now, as for a card which is not a particularly great turn 1 play going first, this next card is Rem, Happy Gesture. It's a 0/02K. When it comes to play, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a magical weapon trait, this card becomes a 3/5 level 1 for the turn. And when the battle opponent of this is reversed, choose another character with either magical weapon, rest it, and move it to an empty slot in the back row. So this is what people colloquially call Clean Cut, after Clean Cut Yukiko from Persona 4 Animation. Even though there was like a Haruhi that came before it, and was not a very good card, but look, that aside, the point of this card, for those who aren't familiar with this profile, is that you get a reverse, and then that means you move a card in the front row, which would have died to an opponent attack, into the back row, where it is relatively safe. And
after it is already attacked.
Yes. So by doing that, you've kind of gotten a +1. What you've actually gotten is you've gotten a free attack, in that you could have played that card in the back row and would have done the same thing. But you keep that resource, so you get a free attack and you get a quote-unquote plus, whatever. Point is, this is a 3/5 clean cut, which has historically been a popular archetype, and it's a very good one against the meta of tri-fielding, because this will almost always have a target, and if you somehow have 2 copies of this, you'll frequently have multiple targets, which is very powerful. Because you can, attack with something, attack with this, move the thing in the back, and then attack with your second one, move your clean cut to the back, and then you have an attacker, which is formidable. It's basically getting a free rush because your opponent rushed. This
profile is a lot worse going second.
Depends on what you're playing against, but yeah.
I don't think it's that much worse going second, but I do think that a plus, which would
I think
it's like a
I think
plus.
mechanically it's
Go on.
better going second, but maybe like in a meta sense. Uh, this is obviously bad against runners. Like this obviously won't
Well,
do
no,
anything to runners, which
mechanically
is
it's better going. It's better going second because it is by
yeah,
nature a reactive
Yeah.
card. Like
yes,
that's just how it is. But I think what he means is going second means because your opponent will have had a chance to try field, and now you've been pushed to probably near level 1 unless you cancel
Yeah.
like a sack. And at that point, you don't really want to be fielding this sort of card unless you can ram it exactly, because that's just giving your opponent free, either free tempo or free advantage, one of those two. So I totally see where he's coming from, um, but it's going
Basically it's
first is good,
that
basically.
you essentially it doesn't really give you a 3+1, but sort of weird clock on core because you're not tri-fielding when you want to be tri-fielding.
Yeah,
In the sense that you have like 3 damage buffers, and it's obviously bad if the opponent starts runner,
yeah.
which
What
is
this
still the most common oversized type, I think. Maybe
I don't think so.
just seems
actually.
like that to me.
what this does do is it's like a pseudo denial of reverse. You can, if your opponent
Yeah.
lets you, you can get a free attack in, and then that card won't actually have been committed as a potential resource for your opponent to farm, which is nice.
This card just naturally pairs well with your own runner.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think you have a billion spaces at level 0 to play all these oversizes, but this is super good in the Maid's deck. I'll say that much.
Well, I like running one copy of these type of effects when you have a ring.
Mm.
Just so if you
Yeah, you have the option to get it. It's like you have quote unquote
if,
5
like
copies.
if you go first and then
And
don't
you-
hit level 1,
and then you draw Ricky, and then you can go like you run, and then you play Ricky, then you play this, and then you can ram your Ricky, clean cut it back, and then have a runner. So your opponent needs to commit full field to get that double reverse, which is nice. Or sometimes they even let you ram and trade, or let
often the runner can kill something and the clean cut can kill the other card.
Unfortunately, that will be
Anyways.
leaving one free reverse, but hey, whatever. Take what you can get.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next card. Ren, Kun Kun. This is a 1/0. This card is weird. So during your turn, if you have any other character, it's a 6k, which is fine.
7k.
7k.
Yeah.
7k.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a 7k, which is fine. It is, as we mentioned before, free farm for the opponent, but how much that matters is up to the matchup. When this attacks, if you have 2 or more other characters, again, very easy. Look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose one of them and put it back, and put the other one in the way. So what this basically means is that you choose what you trigger. So from the top 2 cards, which means that unless you are catastrophically unlucky, this card won't be triggering a climax. That is
Unless you want to trigger a climax.
yes, unless you want to, which is a relevant point. Like if you
the
need
big
some
brain play for sure.
Well, I think it's
I
a
mean,
very
you
relevant.
just attack
Yeah,
with
yeah.
this last and trigger a door. Like,
Yeah,
why
that's what
would
I'm
you
saying.
not? Like, why would you not trigger the door?
I didn't. I said it's a big brain play.
Yeah.
No, this is a super relevant card at all points in the game, in that choosing your trigger is basically like playing like a 2k1 soul. And that is a card with a lot of function in the late game. It's just that you'd rather not play it because you can only play one climax a turn. Because of that, this is like one of the optimal cards you can have at both the stock building point of the game and the point where you want to choose whether you get a crit trigger or not. The problem with this card is I don't know how good all of this is adding up and whether or not that means it's a card you should play in your deck.
The biggest problem I actually have with this card is that ReZero has this card, except it's a 6k cross turn and an uncommon, and it's probably better than
the
this
yellow
one. Yeah.
That requires yellow.
Yeah.
Well, you're running yellow in most decks that aren't like straight up just maids.
I think
In which
Maid
case, you
might be
obviously
one of
play
the
the
best
Rem
decks,
because
though.
Rem is a maid.
yeah, like Maid is probably one of the best decks right now.
I also
So
don't think the
that,
6K is that good, but you
I
I
think
think the
that being
6K
6K
cross turn is
on both
better than
teams is
this.
fine.
know.
Like the yellow deck is built to support a counter heavy level 1 if need be.
Hmm? Is it?
But
I don't think so. That deck
it
runs
can
like a
be.
weak level 1 combo, right? And you're like,
What do you,
I mean, you
which
can.
version are you talking about?
I assume, well, not the one that's focused on using the combo, but the Cruise combo, but the one that's focused on using the Felt combo, right?
Mm,
I don't think that deck is tooled to win level 1 board at all.
sure.
Yeah, you can,
Uh,
but like you when you say that Union sometimes wins board.
Well, that's because Union is your climax combo. Hello? You're not devoting extra slots for that functionality.
Yeah, sure, but like if you want this functionality, crucial also sometimes when
Right,
you
but like
extra.
it's completely different when
do
it's
you
combined
do
with your
you
climax
want
combo. It's like you can't compare it. Like
do you
the
want this functionality? That's the real.
Not really.
yeah, no. I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't think
It's
that
like
I
so
don't
like
think either effect is impactful
so
enough.
like this profile is like it's a filler card, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
the
thing.
7K on your turn is much better suited to be a filler card than the 6K cross turn because the 6K cross turn is like um
Mm,
I think it's
yeah.
more likely to be just useless, if that makes sense. Especially since you don't really run that many counters in that deck anyways.
Mm. In which deck? The Maid's deck?
In not in the Maid's deck, I mean in like
Not the Maid's.
in the Crush in the deck where you'd run that 1/0 Crush.
Right.
Right.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
And
you
you
can
also
just
don't
tool your
really
deck to run like more counters.
well, that's not a filler card anymore, right?
I've been like talking about how these are all neat things to have and how it's a powerful effect at all points in the game. Problem is, it's not powerful. So
It's
I'm
this is like a pretty like textbook filler card.
yeah. It
Uh,
is like it's basically like a a twin drive or
yeah.
a one
Twin
one
Drive
seven.
I think
is
Twin Drive
Twin Drive
is a
better
little
than
more
this.
useful. I think Twin Drive is a little because there's a Twin Drive card that basically attacks with its power, right? But like, I think Twin Drive has
More reach.
yeah, it's just a little more useful than this is.
Well, actually, I think Twin Drive pays out two
Yes.
attacks of
Yeah.
climaxes to the trigger,
That's
and
the other
this
thing.
only hits one.
Yeah.
Sure, but that's like all right. Sure, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a C because that's what I give filler cards. It's like not something I'd be embarrassed to have in my deck. In fact, I think I run exactly one copy in my Maid's deck.
Because you
But
pulled an SR.
I did not open boxes.
Cute art.
I just have one copy.
Do you want my SR?
I have an
You
SR.
want to send me your SR?
I opened four
I'll pay
boxes.
for shipping, dude.
I opened 4 boxes and pulled 5 of this.
Nice. Next card. Emilia, Ever Summer Life in Another World. This is a 3/2 advanced summon. The advanced summon condition is that you have Munching Puck, which
It's like a
I
Emilia
believe,
Ricky. It's an Emilia Ricky.
Yeah,
yeah, it's Ricky for specifically Emilian cards.
and it is a large 2K
Yeah,
pump
some
to
Yeah.
alarm
Emilia.
thing. We'll get to it soon. When it comes to play, you can check top 3, add 1 to hand, and they'll put the rest away. And when this attacks, if you have the book Climax in the Climax zone, and 4 or more characters of other magical level, this gains 1k and the ability until the end of your opponent's next turn. Two of your opponent's two of your opponent's characters anywhere get -1 soul for the turn. So, well, the point of this card is obviously, it's the profile that everyone seems to love. It's the advanced summon into neg early soul, into neg soul, which is quote unquote free turn. This one is going.
Well, I'd like to note, I do like, let's see, comparing this to Kotori, I do like that it pluses your own play. I
Well,
think that's,
plus your own play
I
is
think that's,
very good.
I think that's better than the heal. As
Oh, I
far
absolutely
as
think
this
it's better than
profile,
heal.
as far as like this specific profile, the reason why the heal is okay on the Kotori is because it saves you slots that you would spend on healers otherwise. But as far as the function of this card is concerned, I think plussing on play is much better because...
First of all, this doesn't need you to hold your climax.
Yes.
Which is already
that's
a good thing.
Yeah.
Second of all, check top 3 is really good in this deck if you run like Felt Refresher and this. Because no matter which climax you get, you can convert it into something useful.
Yeah, but at that point, wait, hang on.
You have to use the Minami.
Okay, sure. So you're playing the Felt Stock Soul and this book.
Yeah.
Is that the deck?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
sure.
You do like 2 of this and then third lane of Felt.
Sure.
And then you're still set because your level 1 is pretty bad.
Yeah, look, I've not experimented, so I can't actually speak about this card at length.
A big reason why this card is kind of I think, is because it's so weak.
That's the thing, right? It's only 11-5 before support, and it's only 10-5 on your opponent's
You can get one of them bigger with the alarm from the puck, but the second one is just 11-5, which is really annoying.
His turn. The alarm's not cross turn.
No, well, yeah, you also just 10-5 on defense, which is the other part.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem, right? You're 10-5 on defense, which makes you very easy for any other EP to kill.
Well, I think if you basically need like support plus counter, which is the problem. Like
my problem with this card is basically that I don't value any of the texts very highly, except for the check top 3 take one. But
I don't think -2 soul combos have been good ever. I kind of like this one, but it's still not like
I don't value this for the combo. I just value it for the card.
Well, if you just want to check 3, then you also have like the 3/2 Ram from first set.
Sure.
Or Battle Juice if you're playing yellow.
Sure, but this is also like very serviceable if you're playing this puck Ricky. Like if your level 1 is primarily Emilia,
or you
like
play
you're playing
8 Rickies.
The 8th book, or I guess you could play 8 Rickies. I don't know why you would, but
did anybody try 8 Rickies? I just went to 5 and
I've never played that deck, but it seems never miss Ricky, man.
Yeah, I don't think my rating's too far off from what you guys have anyway. So I don't value this combo very highly, but a lot of other people might.
The speed's only like 6k anymore.
This requires full
probably
board
buying.
This requires your early game to have gone very well because you're going to use a lot of stock to efficiently next all your opponent.
Well, the full board thing, I think I could see the full board thing being kind of awkward. Especially if you're counting on the last slot being like a support, right? Sometimes
if I just had like how would I put it? If I just played, the Rem from the old set that everyone plays the EP, like that's probably just a better EP. It's probably 10-5 and will snowball out of control. This card's only real thing that I played for is the draw card. That is my opinion. Right.
Rem is lower commitment too, but
I mean is it? This card requires you to have a specific.
I'm saying the Rem is lower commitment.
Oh, lower commitment. Sure,
yes.
I heard more.
This is playable in states where the Rem isn't. To be fair.
That's true as well.
Okay, sure, but Zero doesn't really.
They kind of work complementary if you have enough stock.
Sure.
The question, right?
That's why you're using the stock soul combo. Big brain.
Sure.
You got me.
All right.
Sure. Next.
This is not Forbidden Library.
No, it's not. It's Everlasting Summer in Another World.
Whatever.
This is a 3/2 finisher. During your turn, if all your characters are the Maid, our mates. This gains 2k power. Come into play. Check 3 at 1. So same thing as Emilia. And actually, isn't this just identical if you don't play it? Whatever. And then the climax combo is up to once per turn. At the end of this card's attack, so no need to reverse. All you need to do is reach the end of the attack without being, memory kicked, stock kicked, whatever. If you have the pants in the climax zone, and you have all maids, so Ram and Rem, you may pay 3 and ditch a Ram or Rem from hand to the way. If you do, stand this card and gains 2k per turn.
You should probably unplug your laptop, by the way.
Yeah, let's do that.
Solid finisher for the deck.
Yeah, this is a super good finisher. I'm very impressed with this.
I mean, climax combo restands are always very
I think this is better than the Ram,
but the
though.
cost on this is like cheap enough to where it's
It digs for its own
especially
climax.
because that like Mates doesn't have like a better alternative or like any alternative really.
That's Ram. Ha ha ha.
Look, I'm fairly convinced this is the best finisher in ReZero if if you're not counting some ridiculous felt Reinhardt turn that
Betty?
probably drains your entire
Betty?
hand. I don't think Betty actually goes off consistently enough unless you're going really nuts with felt.
That's sure. If we're talking
This
about
goes
Really?
this goes off
I didn't have,
every
like-
single game. Like you cannot deny that. You'll get double or triple this every game with basically no effort. This is like
triple
Yarny
takes how
level.
much stock? 8? No, 9.
9?
9?
Wait, it's not 9.
No,
It's
it'd be more
more.
than that, wouldn't it?
It's 12, isn't it?
No.
It's a lot of stock.
Oh
It's a lot
wait,
of stock.
sorry. It's like it is. Is it 9?
Is it?
I think it is.
I
9.
think it should be
yeah,
9.
It is 9.
9.
It
It is 9.
is 9. Yes, it's 9.
Oh, oops.
Okay,
It's the same
sure.
as it's the same as triple Betty.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not up front, is it?
It
Oh, no,
is.
it is.
Yes, it is. Up
Oh,
front.
never mind.
Wow, get right.
Well, there you go. I guess this card just feels better than Betty to play. Whatever.
You only like you just love Maids, man. Which I can understand because I hate Betty, but like
She's not
come
even
on.
wearing a
Some
maid
objectivity
outfit in this one,
here.
man.
I
Do
don't
you
know,
notice
man.
how she's holding a melon?
the melon is
Yeah.
a metaphor for her bountiful breast.
I don't know, man.
I wasn't
just
gonna
like
go
this
there,
card.
man. It's supposed to represent summer. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, I think this card is a really good reason to run Maids. It's actually that strong. And
What if it restood any character? That'd be cool.
then you
Isn't
could
this like-
restand the buff Maids, and that would be really dumb.
Yes, that's
Um,
exactly what I.
Yeah.
Like
I like
one
this
of the
card.
issues I obviously have with the card is the comparison to Power of Smile. And I
Yeah,
never
that's
liked
fair.
Power of Smile, so I can't really like this.
Well, you're a fool.
That's fine. It's fine not to like Power Smile. I think I have issues with that myself.
You're gonna get some B
Um,
plus.
I like B plus. At this point in time, I'd probably.
I'd
give
rather
Power
have
Smile
had
B
a
plus.
standby for the Maid stack than this.
I would probably give Power Smile a B plus at this point in time. So I'm gonna give this card a B plus.
All right.
I just value going off like every single game. It's just a really, really good thing.
You should play Miku.
I
that deck
could,
gets wrecked by
but
memory kick.
Idol's a shit, dude. Alright. Next card. Emilia, teacher, 001k. It's a global 500, and when you trigger a book, you may draw a card. If you do, ditch a card from hand. This is obviously for the waifu deck. I'm unconvinced
like
this card is
E
a
for
film.
Emilia.
Payoff?
ENT. Oh, can I give it the E-man grade? I'm giving it the E-man grade.
Nice.
Alright,
This effect sucks.
Yeah, Global 500 is really whatever, especially because Emilia's main combo is like a 5k on defense. And then triggering a book to get a, a draw drop is whatever.
So like,
if there's something worth digging towards, like say a 2-1 heal event, or I don't know, something, then I think there's like a reason to play this, but as it stands, the only reason to play this is because the art is nice.
Well, I mean,
Which is why I have 4 SRs, but like, it doesn't exactly
do anything.
make the
Yeah, it
card
doesn't
better.
do anything. It really doesn't do very much. Ever.
Yeah. The global is just blank text, and the trigger effect isn't reason enough to play the card on its own.
It's not blank text, but it's basically...
It just doesn't do anything for the deck, right? It doesn't synergize very well with the deck. Like, the deck isn't gonna... The deck, it doesn't, like, eke the value from that line of text, right?
It is actually fine if you're playing, the old 1-0 Puck and 1-1 Emilia.
Sure, but...
Yeah, but that's like a fairly fragile setup, if you ask me. There are a lot of decks that just randomly get way too much power, and then you just lose your setup. And this isn't like a good card in the back row anyway. You'd rather just have like the Emilia Brainstorm and, well, Gay Clown or something.
You know, it's OP having multiples of these on the board when you trigger a book.
I don't.
Oh, this is like this is how you mill through your deck. Do triple Emilia and triple trigger book, and then your deck is done.
Dang.
But you still have a book in stock. Like, what are you gonna do about that?
3 books in stock.
Lovely. All right. Next card. It's the Puck Ricky we were talking about. It's a 0/0/1k. When you play it, you can pay Ricky cost, pay 1, clock the top card of your deck. If you do, add a Emilia to your hand from your deck. So, notably, you don't have to add a level 1 or lower, which is cool. The big brain play.
I've actually fetched the restand with this once, so it's actually somewhat relevant.
I mean, the big brain play is to play this, get the puck from your top deck into clock, and search the 3/2 Emilia, and then you play the Emilia and go off. Someone out there has done that. I'm like absolutely certain someone's done that.
Sure, I could believe it.
I don't know how good that really is, though. All right.
Solid card.
It's obviously worse than the Rem Ricky, but it's like...
It's still a Ricky. Like, it's hard for this to be particularly terrible.
Also, yeah, that's like the awkward thing with the Felt Emilia deck. This is not actually a Ricky in that deck.
Well, I mean, this card would just lighten the load on the combo, right? In that deck, it means your Felt doesn't have to get your early plays. Like, there's less of a need for your Minami combo.
Well, you need to clock this anyways, so you can't really like play it, I guess, unless you draw multiple.
Yeah, I mean the 2k power is kind of neat. Sometimes you'll randomly get some power too.
The 2k is actually really relevant for the early play itself.
I believe it, but I don't want to play the early play, so I'm not going to think too hard about it.
Biased.
Agreed. I am biased.
You know, how many times are they going to reuse this scene? There's like there are like 3 other cards with this like very similar art.
Yeah.
Like I can people are gonna get confused if they haven't gotten confused already.
Dude. You know the best bit?
Yeah, okay.
One of the other cards is also a global support.
Yes. That is the other I think it's the same power too.
It is 500. It's 500 to magic weapon. This is 500 to ram.
No, I mean like the power on the card is the same.
Oh yeah. The power of the card's the same because it's the same sort of effect.
She has an open mouth on the foil, right?
In the first set foil, yes. I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I think so. That's how you can differentiate.
Well, some people might not have the foil. I'm giving this an F because this is strictly worse than the other rem in terms of utility. I rate tapping to give 500 something. That's really terrible. as compared to what the other one does, which is mill 2, and if you mill a climax, you tap it. I think that one is better in such a large majority of the situations available to you that I'm just going to give this an F.
Do you have any
I'm gonna
axe
give
synergy
this
in
an
this?
I for I love Emilia.
I'm going to change that to a nothing.
So mean.
Rude.
That's surprisingly meta. I did that by accident.
Wow. I'm sure you did. I've never heard that joke before.
Rem is best. Next card. Oh, this is a good card. Like I was impressed by how good this card ended up being. At the start of your climax phase, give a magical weapon trait 1 level 500 power,
Oh, it's
and
not
then
the
it's a
same
tap
card.
2. No, it's a tap 2 brainstorm. To search. This is good in the Maid's deck. Obviously, in the normal decks, it's just outclassed by both the Betty brainstorm and the set 1 Ram brainstorm, and you could argue that it's worse than the Ram brainstorm too. I run a split currently. The split's because I want to have a ditch bond, so I treat that card as a bond rather than a brainstorm, which is really weird. Come to think of it, I don't know. This card is perfectly serviceable. It's not terrible. It's just perfectly serviceable.
Do you have like a meta where the +1 level is very relevant?
No, not really. But 500 power is really nice.
You know what this does? This makes your puck level 3, so it gets 500 extra power from Roswell.
That is something that you can do. Plus, but the thing is, Roswell has a bunch of tap effects. I know you're just messing, but like, if anyone takes it seriously, that's...
Yeah, it's not. I'm not being serious. That would also require your back row to have no Emilias.
It is notable that this, while it seems designed for the Maid's deck, it can be played in anything, so this B is like fine. I think it's still worse than its tap self brainstorms. Another Emilia.
Especially in any deck running Fault.
Yep. So this is a brainstorm specifically for the Emilia deck. It is a 002k if you have all elemental traits, which is Emilia and Puck. This gains self-tap brainstorm, and for every hit of you search for an elemental, add it to hand, and come to play given Emilia 1k for the turn. So this is in an Emilia only deck.
The same as Spirit?
Yes.
I assume so.
The Emilia brainstorm we were all waiting for.
Yeah, like the fourth Emilia brainstorm.
4th time's the charm, right?
Yeah. It's obviously a really good brainstorm in the Emilia deck, but that's basically it. I mean, really good. It's like okay, actually, but it's the best one we have. So.
Yeah, I think it's better than the old one, despite not being a defense buff, but that's because I don't like the old one's brainstorm profile.
Which old one? There's 3.
The levels.
You know what I've heard that brainstorm described as? That old one.
What?
A standby brainstorm.
Nice. Guys, Zero no Tsukaima has standby.
I'm not going to leave the call based on professional courtesy, but I want you all to know I'm very unhappy with what just transpired here.
Next card.
Next card. Ram and Rem, cute servants. This is an interesting card. When this is reversed in battle, you may do a Rize thing, so reveal 3 cards. If you do reveal any, choose up to 1 Ram or Rem you find there, add it to hand, ditch the rest, and then discard a card. So it's like a hand filter from top 3. And at the start of your climax phase, you can reveal the level 3 Rem from your hand. If you do, this becomes a 4k for the turn.
Ooh.
So, yeah, this actually has a surprising number of effects. Like, being an oversize is pretty relevant to match opposing oversizes.
Oversize.
Yeah, it beats oversizes, but it also dies on defense, which is kind of a good thing because you want it to die. Obviously, it gets docked points because it only goes into the Maid's deck running the level 3 Rem, but you could run in a Maid's deck without the level 3 Rem. In fact, you could probably run it in just, any deck, but you run the risk of missing, which is
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Like if you don't run like
I think half your deck needs to
specifically
be
the Maid
Maids.
stack, the card just bricks too much because most Maid's cards suck.
Mm-hmm.
So like the regular deck won't have like enough Maids. Also, Armin is fucking awful.
This guy's salty.
It's fine. You'll play it in Mates. Next card, Emilia.
It's
Karma
like
Spirits.
free mill that deck actually really needed. So
I screwed up.
So what?
I don't know what this
If
card
you
is.
have
Oh,
Amelia.
it's the Brainstorm.
Yeah.
The Brainstorm in quotes.
Yeah.
If you have Emilia gathering at Roswell's Mansion, this is 6/5. So you have the Brainstorm that we talked about not long ago, and it's got Twin Drive. This is
This is the
rare.
actual payoff for the twin for the Brainstorm.
Yeah.
I believe it.
This is an okay card for that deck.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Again, Emilia waifu, and I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give it a C+. I think it is a very fine filler card.
So you can draw a drop when you trigger a book, and then you can pay out the book.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It's like a wow. It's like you.
And you also milled like 2 extra cards.
It's like a free. It's a free Brainstorm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a free Brainstorm.
Wow, that's impressive.
You built your own Brainstorm.
This even uses the global well, so it's like a
Brainstorm.
This even uses the global properly, so it's like a 7.
Okay, so if we add this Brainstorm to the list, Emilia has how many Brainstorms now? Is that like 6?
5.
You can run a level 0 all of Brainstorms.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is this not the best waifu deck in Wise?
Why has 3-0 have 9 Brainstorms? Is there like any reason for this?
Because it's the best set in the game, clearly. The more Brainstorms a set has.
Next card is Rem, Favorites Guidance.
All I hear is somebody pushing Zero no Tsukaima.
105k. Can't side attack. When it plays from hand or via change to the stage, if you have another magical weapon, it gains 2k. And at the beginning of your climax phase, you can change this into what I believe is 1/0 cost bomb. It's like a 2k. It's like a 2k
I think
or something.
he is right about that. Yes.
Yeah, I've played against.
Why is this a rare?
Because it's a 7k.
Because there are a lot of blue cards. This could have been worse.
It could definitely have been worse.
Like, yeah, for sure.
Isn't this worse than like the set 1 change thing and that was like common?
I don't think so, but it is close. Like, it is not great.
I think
I do not like this profile
set
very much.
This actually made me depressed, honestly.
The problem is
I've never seen so much filler and like random garbage at the rare slot. It's really...
Yeah, the problem with this card is that it uses up way too many slots for not enough effect. It's like kind of like the opposite of the problem with the 1/0 double R, which was like it wasn't impactful enough, but was kind of worth its slots. This is just not really worth its DD. I don't think she's that big, dude.
She's pretty big, dude.
She's pretty big.
Yeah, no, I don't like this card. I'm gonna give it a B-.
Running this card means you have a shitty deck, so this is an F.
I'd much rather run the cost bomb by itself, to be honest.
If this isn't an F, then what is?
This next card?
A card you would just never run ever.
The next card is like there is some weird scenario in which you will play this. The next one.
When the battle opponent of this is reversed, if you have Happy Special Treatment in your hand, Climax Zone, search for a magical weapon trait, add it to your hand. You have like 6
Depends.
better combos or something stupid like that. I don't even think I'm.
You have like 2 better combos, to be honest. You have like
no, you like let's count them out. You have
Emilia?
you have the new Ram, you have the Betty,
The
you
new
have
Ram is worse than this.
no way the new Ram's worse.
I think on reverse salvage is enough worse than on reverse search that I'm willing to give
Wait,
up 1k
what?
power on offense.
Emilia is cannon bigger than Rem?
Yes.
What?
Oh, that's interesting.
Someone at the anime studio took liberties.
Biased. This is a good card for a cube.
You're not wrong. If you get to automatically get the climax.
No, you don't. No.
Oh,
you have to.
Is...
No. It works because climax combos work surprisingly well in that cube. So.
Yeah, but well, the problem is like plussing triggers will be drafted fairly highly because they're plussing triggers. Whatever. You guys are probably bad at drafting. Next card. UA had a cube apparently.
It works
I'm
pretty
really
well.
confused by like Priscilla being first place over Elsa.
Emilia, personality without exceptions. When displaced from hand to stage, given Emilia 1k for the turn, and it is a cost. It is a anti-change bomb.
This is actually worse than the
I mean, it depends on whether you
one.
value random power to probably nothing or the ability to be ditch bonded.
Well, the ability to be ditch bonded is obviously better, but if you're not playing that Brainstorm,
I believe that Rem is also 500 bigger.
Dang.
I don't think that's as like the 1k power is really irrelevant.
But
the 500 power on the Rem is even more irrelevant.
I can't believe that Ellen Rider actually like.
Why is this a rare again?
Yeah.
Because it's that thing. I mean, it's an anti-change bomb. Don't they put those at boss?
This comes in foil and the Rem anti-change bomb does.
Wait, why are you complaining? I thought you were an Emilia fan.
Yeah, I'm just like... I'd prefer to not have to run shitty cards just to like have my deck blinged out, if possible. But yeah.
Next card.
Next card is Rem gathering at Roswell's mansion. This card isn't that bad.
Actually, this is fine for the Wi-Fi.
Fine. There's a lot of redundancy. The thing is, this is just an EP that draws a card as opposed to the normal EPs you play. Rem gathering at Roswell's mansion. It's an early play if you have 4 or more Rems on the field. So obviously this is very, very restrictive. If you all your Christ's sake, this is basically base 10k because you advance summoned it with 4 other Rems on the field. And when you place from hand to stage, check the top X cards, where X is the number of magic or weapon traits. Add a card you find there to your hand. This is a fine card to just have as a one-off, like a Rem waifu or even a Maid's deck. Like, you can make the Maid's deck extremely heavy on Rem.
This is the only top check X, anyway.
Yeah, and it's top check X universally. It doesn't have any restrictions.
It's just like only in order to play in the Rem hardcore waifu deck.
Yeah. It's fine. I have no issue with it.
Yeah, this is actually okay.
It's like a C+. For the same reason I gave C+ to the Emilia. You can play it in whatever.
You don't need to run this in like regular Maids because, well, you finish your top checks 3 anyways.
And you have an easier EP, so it doesn't really do either of those roles, but it's still fine because it does both at once if you need it. Speaking of doing 2 things at once, the next card, Rem, working with Subaru, it's a 0/0 counter. It also has come in play, give a magical weapon trait 1/5 power. And it can't side attack.
They had to give this card this drawback so that it even exists.
Yes, because that otherwise would have made it a 0 power card. The problem with this card is that while it does two things, only one of them is particularly relevant, so it just ends up being a worse version of Pucci Mikan.
Oh my god.
What?
You run 4 of this and 4 clean cut.
Clean cut already gets a bunch of power, and there are...
No. The opponent beats over clean cut with the mill runner, and then you play this and you fucking blow them up.
Oh god, you are you are play the look. If the clean cuts ability,
I think this gets a C now. This sounds
look
really sick.
from design,
pretty fucking
stupid.
bad
It sounds
to me, but
bad. But look, from a design point of view, if the clean cuts ability wasn't, come and play top check, if it was like on a startup effect, because there is a support with a tap self ability in this set, right? So that would make sense too. If it was gain power on a startup effect, then this card would actually be really sick in like a Rem Waifu sort of deck. But as it stands, I'm just giving it a D.
yeah, that's fair enough. I
I can see the potential.
I really like these kinds of profiles though.
Look,
I think
you mean being versatile?
well, it's my opinion that back counters suck in hand. They're like one of the worst cards you could have in your hand at most points of the game. So any way to make a counter like more useful outside
I'm not
of
viewing it. I'm not viewing it as a counter first though. Like I'm viewing it as
I'm not talking about
this
this card specifically. I'm just talking about this profile in general. It's just a commentary on like this kind of generic profile, a counter like that can do other stuff for you.
I don't even think this is a counter. Like, how often is 1K going to beat a defense?
I'm not talking about this card specifically.
Well, okay, sure.
This is a commentary on like this like generic like
you hate
card
counters,
concept.
we know.
Would
Yeah,
this be
sure.
better if it was
All right,
1-5?
next card. Emilia, on the second morning, it's a 0/0 assist 500. And you can sack it to save an Emilia, if it's background. Is there is there some sort of combo with this, or is it just exactly what it says on the?
It's just like with the early play, but I'm not playing it even in the waifu deck, so it's not even really with the early play.
This does not seem worth your time or space in the deck.
Yeah, your back row is just like global and brainstorm, so no space for this, or like assistant brainstorm.
It is nice that you can tap this for tap 2 brainstorm, that sort of effect, but I don't think that's nearly enough to redeem it. Whatever. I don't think the generic saber profile is particularly strong.
E for Emilia. Oh right, Americans don't have E's.
E for E-Man. He's Canadian. Alright, next card. Rem, something about the future. Come and play, check the top card of your deck, put it either on top or bottom. Oh, so this is what you set up the puck with. So you check the top card, make sure it's puck, and then you puck, take puck as damage, and then you search him with it. Okay, we got it.
Nice one.
Yeah, so it's come and play top check, put it either on top or bottom, and then when your opponent plays climax, this can go to stop. That second effect is...
Wow.
I really like the second effect. I've just always liked it, because it's free resources, and yeah, it is just a very fine utility card. Like, although there are lots of situations where this card is not it's not broken powerful, it's not super strong, but you'll be hard-pressed to find a situation where this is a terrible card. And that's not something you can say about everything. Like, a lot of cards are just actually terrible at a lot of points in the game. This card is like never going to be terrible.
2 marginally good effects, which make this reasonable some amount of the time. Just don't overestimate like either one of those marginal effects, I guess.
Agreed. I definitely don't think this is like slam dunk, put 3 to 4 in your deck, but I think it is perfectly fine. Next card. Oh, I didn't realize there were so many multiple effect alarms in this set. So
there's 2.
That's already more than like the entire past year's worth of cards.
You forgot about Bang Dream.
I don't care about Bang Dream. 1-0 counter, 1-5, and it has alarm. If this is on top of the clock at your main phase, you can swap this with a card in your waiting room. So, wait.
This literally
Okay,
just
so you swap it with Puck. You swap
with
it with
Puck.
Yeah. This is kind of whatever.
You play this in the thing
In the
deck.
Emilia waifu deck,
do?
maybe.
Oh.
No, you also played in the Emilia Emilia Felt deck. Because it's still fetchable by the Rem early play, and this is like another way to set up the early play condition.
Oh god. Really?
I mean, the early play condition is the whole point of the swap thing, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing else there. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Like 1-5 is not going to be enough to keep your early plays alive. So this is only really the only thing this is really doing is just being a 1-5 counter.
2K is pretty similar for like.
Sure, but I think both suck at keeping early plays alive with consistency. Especially when your early plays are 10-5.
Is this what we usually give 1-5 counters? I just want to give it the same rating we give like all 1-5 counters.
I don't know. You're allowed to give it something lower. I don't like 1-5 counters.
I just don't
give them
forget
Bs.
they give them C's or D's.
Whatever. I'm gonna give this a C. This is actually a useful card.
Okay, sure. I've not tried it. I'll take your word for it. Alright, next card is Rem, Strike of an Angry Oni. It's a 1-0 cost bomb. Bottom deck your cost 0 opponent. This is it's a way to get rid of stuff. It's a bad catch-all Lancer, that's all.
Bomb sucks.
It's also 2500 power because of the change. Feels bad, man.
I mean, what's wrong with that?
I mean, it'll just die at level 0s too, right?
Whatever. It's not supposed to live. You just run it in. I don't think it's a good card. I think it's fine to have access to.
I forgot, do the hands have extra power, or are they also just
2-5? I don't remember.
Damn.
I also don't really care. This can go in the Maid's deck. Look, this goes in the Maid's deck. This does that card does not. It was like whatever. All right, next card. It's a Rem combo.
This card doesn't go in the Maid's deck.
You can play like one. It's fine.
Why? What for?
It really wrecks Idolmaster.
Nice meme, man.
Does it? It's like
Kappa.
I think no, not even Milky Holmes cares that much, I guess.
It can care. Like, if you haven't had a perfect start, it can definitely mess with you. Either way, next card, Rem, able to do everything.
You can remove the Cheryl, right? I think that's the play.
Yeah, you can bottom. You can give it space.
Play against Zero and remove their only Emilia.
Oh, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, that seems fine. Yes, okay, more utility than you guys were giving it credit for, and it's still nothing more than a C- for me. Alright, yeah, 1-0 Rem combo. When it's placed from hand to stage, gains 1-5, and then Climax combo, clock yourself. When the battle opponent of this is reversed, if you have a stock soul, you can draw up to one card, put up to one magic or weapon character in your waiting room into stock, and then give another character one. This card has a lot of text. None of it is good. I have a draft of a waifu deck, and instead of running this combo, or any changes, it just runs 6-5 at PRs and 1-1s, because all of the level 1 Rem combos and changes, in my opinion, kind of suck.
You're running 8 pants, right?
Sorry?
You're running 8 pants, right?
No, I'm running 7 pants and one of the set 1 book.
Oh, because that one is nice art, sure.
It also, like, I am running the card that combos with it. I think. I haven't actually checked. Like, I've only got the draft written up. I'm not 100% sure.
Is this playable somehow?
Wishing.
Clocking yourself
the only
sucks.
card? Oh god, it really is. Alright, that's fine.
Okay, but I mean, clocking yourself sucks. But if you compare this to, say, the standby combos where you clock yourself,
This is
isn't
nowhere
this?
near as good.
Do you think so?
You draw a card, you don't have any selectivity, you get stock, and you give some tiny amount of power, or if you get a reverse on a base 6k with stock soul, doesn't sound worth it to me.
Oh, it's on a stock soul?
Yes.
Okay.
The
That's
pants
unfortunate.
combos, like the pants combos are the 2/2 Oni from the first set and the
Yeah, of
3/2
course.
here. So yeah, even in like a Rem waifu, this is not good enough. Alright, next card. Rem, taking out the White Whale. It's 2/1 support, gives all characters in front 1k power. Up to once turn, when your other 3/2 EP Ram from the first set is reversed, if this is in the back row, you can pay 1, ditch card in hand. If you do, rest that character and draw a card. That second effect can be really powerful, but it's only powerful for like the tiniest of moments. Since if it survives past that moment, this will no longer be relevant. It will get too big for anything to it. And it doesn't save it from being bottom decked or stock kicked by anti-change anyway.
I'm still not sure how good this is.
This is not good. In the deck that like say in a Maid's deck, you'd be running the 2/2 that changes into the 3/2 even without the clap combo. So this card basically has no role, and in every other deck, you'd be playing the 2/1 Emilia with 2k in front.
So I've been experimenting with like a 1-1 split.
Of
And
what?
like of the 2/1 Emilia and one of this, but
This is 1k power, not 2k power. You know that, right?
I know, but it felt dies to power. Like worst case, you can just restock her.
But if they get like anti-change bombs, this has no additional text and
Yeah,
it's
but
less power.
yeah. So if the opponent has anti-change bombs, you just try to search for Emilia, and it just
What
don't
deck
care about
doesn't
this.
have anti-change bombs in this day and age?
A lot of decks actually skip on them now. That's why people are saying Vivid Strike.
Okay. I forgot that in Europe they still play like Railgun. Yeah. Okay,
Wait,
sure, dude.
which WGP just got won by Railgun? Let me
Uh,
think.
the one that got won by June, who just I don't know what he did, but he worked his black magic once again. Either way, yes, if you're playing against Railgun, then this might be relevant.
No, why would this be relevant against Railgun?
Railgun
Well,
doesn't
okay,
play
against
EPs.
June's Railgun maybe, but like nobody fucking plays that deck except for.
Yeah, that's the problem. Now that June's won, everyone's going to be playing his deck. So this is good against June's Railgun.
Okay.
That being said, this is like whatever. I've said my piece. It's not good in the Maid's deck. I haven't tested in Rem Waifu, but since Rem Waifu is just going to be Maids with even more Rem, and actually have the combo to make the cost of changing less problematic, this can't possibly be any better in that deck. So,
No, I think if you play this, you play this in your ideal deck. Mates just has better options.
Yeah, of course.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't know if I play this over the Emilia system.
No, actually, I think this might be playable, so I'll have to give it a C.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. Next card, Emilia, seeing people off. It's a come and play heal. When this attacks, if you have 2 or more of a magical weapon, give a character 2k for the turn. I don't know. What does this even do?
For the waifu deck,
it's a heal that's better than the trial deck heal.
Yes.
And it doesn't cost like $500 to foil out.
E for Emilia.
Okay. Alright, next card, a far more exciting level 3.
Oh, why did I
Subaru,
give this?
Trusting Cooperation. When this is placed from hand to stage, draw 2, ditch 1, and when you have Resisting Despair, the book, placed to your climax end, if this is in the front row and all players level 3 or higher, you may pay 2 stock. If you do, draw up to 3 cards, and then both players put all of their clock into waiting room, then this card cannot attack this turn.
What a fucking meme.
S for Subaru.
This is a +3 though. Wow.
S for a Sugoi. This isn't +3, it's +2. You have to play
+3.
a climax.
It pluses on play.
Oh, play a card, sure.
You know, again, why do we not have any broken events to draw into?
I would like for someone to play this against LB, just because. Yeah, no, this is a impractical effect. It's really silly. I don't think it's as good as the other Subaru combo, because at least that one kills the opponent when you get all your stupid setup done. And obviously you have better options to cantrip in the set.
If somebody has an idea for playable Subaru waifu deck, I'm open to suggestions. I have 7 Subaru SPs by now. It will be 8 soon.
This man is trying to reenact the anime.
He's definitely going down a bad route though this time.
I just love Emilia. And like
Alright.
Subaru, I guess.
Next card. Rem, pressing stance. It's a 3/2/10. I didn't even know this level 3 existed. And, oh god.
Now you
When
do.
it's placed from hand to stage, you can heal 1, and when you play a climax, this gains 1/5 for the turn. This is like a 2010 rare. Christ.
This is a cube card.
I don't think I ever played this. This is like, no. I don't think you've ever played this card.
Healers are OP in cube.
This
You
is
don't need
a
a fifth
budget
healer.
version for the waifu deck because you don't.
Healers
have
are just
any
at a
other
premium
heals.
in cube, so you know.
Okay, sure.
And this is generically, it like does whatever it does, like no matter what traits you have, right? So
give it a C, C for
and it's
cube.
like good
also
traits.
Magic.
It's also magic.
No, fuck this.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck this.
Also
No.
Maid trait is
We
powerful.
should not excuse bad cards just because.
How is this a bad card? What? We literally just gave.
It's not terrible. Like, I do think that, say, in a Maid's deck, if you want a 5th heal, then this is not actually terrible. You could definitely do worse.
It's a healer.
I guess there's no ram that heals, so sure.
You definitely could do worse.
Yeah.
Alright,
This guy's
next
just
card.
biased against
Rem, Bloodline of the Oni. Up to once a turn, when your other Ram, Bloodline of Oni, is placed from hand to stage, you may put the top card of your deck into stock.
I
and
forgot
then
what this
switch
card
bonds
is.
to
118k, isn't it?
It's a vanilla. Yes.
Oh.
It's a 2/1
Wow, this is
vanilla.
The extra stock effect is surprisingly powerful. It doesn't mean I'm not giving this an F, but it's like, you know.
I think there are cards
Actually, I'm gonna give
that
this a
you
D.
guys gave these to
I'm gonna give this a D.
that are worse than this, so I can't give this an F.
Yeah. In light of that, I'm gonna give this a D. You're right.
I just don't think I'm ever going to play this card ever.
Dude, this is gonna. They're gonna print one of these pairs that's gonna like knock your socks off, man.
They've
They're gonna
already done.
reprint the RAM as like a 0/0 Ricky for Maid.
It's going to have to
nice
be like
try.
a Ricky Azusa, put the top card of your clock into stock, and a draw 2, all on the same effect for me to even consider it. Okay.
Now you're
next
just
card.
like
Being reasonable, I know.
Very biased.
Nah. Very
Next
biased.
card. Emilia, Flowing with Tears. When it's placed from hand to stage, if you have 2 or more other magical weapon traits, you may draw then ditch. And when it's placed from stage to waiting room, you may pay 2. If you do, search your deck for a magical weapon, add it to hand, shuffle your deck. This is a fine filler card, in my opinion. I have no issue with giving this a reasonable grade. This is a come and play draw drop, and it is a 2 stock deep outlet for stock if need be. And I find both those things. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
This is.
I think both
I
of
agree
those
with
those things are perfectly reasonable in my book.
Yeah.
The thing
Sassy.
is, like, the 1-0 Emilia is a better draw.
Is it?
And
well, okay, it is.
Deep, when I go 2 stock deep, I just double Brainstorm.
It's heathen.
Right.
Or like Brainstorm, use the refresh or something.
Alright. Sure. So next card. 0-0 Giant Puck. Where's this from? Is this like his dream sequence or something?
Yes.
No, he changes his form to like Surprise Subaru.
Wait, are you serious? Wait. Okay, yes. Yes. Are you sure? Are you sure this wasn't a dream?
I don't
I'm
know
not
and I don't
sure.
care.
Like, ReZero is 2 years ago.
No.
This kind of sucks. I don't like it.
It's the same card as like that one we saw before, right? Kind of.
No,
this
gives the Betty 1 level, so you can bounce it with the event.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Solid.
So you use it in like when you use the event, you use it because it's like it saves you 1 stock, and you don't need to run shitty 2-1s.
Very solid.
Alright, next card. Rem, Sudden Charge. When this direct attacks, you can give something 1/5, and when damage dealt by this is cancelled, you can pay 1, and if you do, draw a card. That second effect is actually not too bad. I don't think the first effect comes up nearly enough for this to be worth it. If you're direct attacking with this, it means you're leaving a reverse for your opponents, and I don't know, if your opponent has a runner, they're just going to get in front, and your plan goes out the window. It's not terrible, but I also don't think it's particularly good.
This is very incentivized to direct attack. I'll give it that.
This is E-Man grade. It is a 0-0 vanilla.
She's in her night clothes. Cute.
Is the card the vanilla we just talked about?
Yes it is.
Oh god. Yeah, this is E-Man.
At what point is the thing playable? Say the 1-0 is a 1-0. Okay.
The 1-0.
It's a coin flipper. It's a coin flipper. And it gets a bazillion power for some arcane condition that, you know, it's like it somehow attacks at 7k.
So it's like a really broken Mari.
And yes, basically.
I don't think it has to be that good.
I think it does. You're running a freaking vanilla here, dude.
Vanillas are basically oversizes.
Okay, dude. Go ahead and run your vanillas, man, in your deck.
Alright, next card. Map Pillow, Rem. For a moment I thought this was like straight power creep. I thought it was a 4k counter, but then I read it again. So it's a 2-1 counter that deals that's a 3k counter, and the other effect is when you play it from hand to stage, give something 1k.
Common mistake.
This is not actually like the first time they printed this. In fact, it's like it's been around a bit. I think it's like fine. It protects your level 3 EPs, and then if you can't do that, you can sometimes play it as a 1-cost pump. But that's worst
1k power is really small.
You play it with your Emilia with the neg 2 soul, right?
Honestly, this should have been like a, I don't know, 2k pump.
I feel like the reason this will be played down the most in the history of, you know, this world, this card, this deck, is to get 4 characters on board for the Rem early play. I legitimately don't think you're going to be doing the other thing very much.
Wait, but this won't even give power to the early play.
That's fine. You can give it to, like, the next card we're about to talk about.
You know what's really unfortunate about that? The 2-2,
it doesn't do anything.
like if you play down this... No, wait, not really that. Like the Rem early play requires full field Rem.
It requires
But if you
4
full
Rems.
field Rem, you can't use the 2/2 Oni unless you either overplay or put the 2/2 Oni in your bag. That's really sad.
Oh well. Next card, Rem, Fearful. If you have 2 or more other magical weapons, this can side attack without soul penalty to make use of the power you just gave it. And when this attacks, all your characters gain 1k for the turn. This is not good. It does seem like a nice little bit of extra reach, but it'll basically never be relevant. I don't think particularly worthwhile.
If this
I don't
was a
think it's gonna be worth
1/0, I think this is playable. Like
Yeah,
I don't
you'll be
care about the
playable,
second
1K
effect.
power. Yeah.
Well, I don't really care about the second effect, mostly for the first one.
You'll be a 2/5 in case, and that's like whatever. Alright, next card. Well, I mean, the thing with that is that it's just costless and you can ram it too, so that's... Next card is Emilia, Analyzing Magic. Gains 500 for every other magical weapon to be like an 8/5, your full field. And when you play a climax, give a character 2k for the turn.
What is this?
Actually,
It's a weird waifu card that you probably don't need to play or worry about.
There's a better 2/1/8/5 in the first set that is an actual vanilla, but it's like has good art, so it's better.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Next
is why
card.
this gets an F.
God, this card. Oh, God. How do you... What? Alright, so let's assume that even in the best case scenario, your opponent does not know about this card, they don't know about its effects, they're not going to play around it. It still
Why
won't
would
go
you
off
play
all the
around this?
wait.
Like this is a 2/1. This is a 2/1.
This is still really bad, even in that instance. Holy shit.
Wait, am I misreading this?
No, you're not misreading it. It's just, it's a 1/5 flat instead of being a level X. But, yeah, the drawback is
playable. I don't know what you guys have.
It is not playable.
This is only not reasonable because like the 2/1 Emilia is such a stacked card. Like the 2/1 Emilia is really good.
D-, sure.
This is a 2/1. This is kind of like the Union from Konosuba.
I don't know where you're going with this, but
this is a 2 soul 1 cost thing.
2 soul.
You're attacking with this? Oh my god.
You can attack with this.
It's not a Union, it's a Megumin. No.
No, the backer is a
Union. It's a Union. The backer is a Union.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Well, that card doesn't see play, so neither should this.
Alright.
Does it not?
I don't think anyone plays it. The next card, Rem, Twin Mates. The 2/2/6/5. Each other weapon or magic trait is gains 1k. When it's placed from stage, if you have 4 more other characters, you may choose a character in your waiting room with magical weapon, put it in your stock. Why aren't you talking about this card? This
card is actually decent, yeah.
This is a better version of the card we just talked about.
I actually like this.
It's not even a D, it's a C. Yeah, this card is fine. This card is totally fine. It's a 2/1, like 10k 2 soul, and I think that is perfectly reasonable.
Sure.
The Oni Rem doesn't care about level, right? It's just straight 2k.
Yes.
The supporter, not the Oni itself.
It's 2k and the bottom deck or memory clause, whatever it is.
No, it's hexproof.
Sure, whatever clause it is. It's a flat.
If it was bottom deck, that card would be really sick.
Unfortunately. Alright, next card.
I think this is pretty good.
I don't think this is Meteor, this is Media. But, Meteor as in the... I know it's not of the cards.
They call this Meteor.
They call artifacts those, don't they? In Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. Choose one of your standing characters with magical weapon and rest it. If you do, search your deck for a character with alarm, add it to your hand, and give a character 1k for it. This is just a cycling card for either your Puck Ricky or
Or the
your
card that
counter.
fetches your Puck Ricky.
It's also a counter. Like, this is a 1/0 get a counter, and that's not enough. I do not think it's very much, but it's not nothing.
This is still one of the better events this set has.
It turns out that telling your opponent you have a counter makes the counter slightly worse. Not enormously worse, slightly. Because it wasn't very good to begin with.
But, I mean, in most cases, you tell your opponent you have the counter because you search your combo.
Well, you don't tell them with next card, which is a 1/1/3/5 event counter. Gives it a magical weapon trait, and you basically can't ever search this.
Which
this
character
was good.
is it?
This Ram? I don't know. I can't tell.
Doesn't look like. Yeah.
What does the flavor text say?
It doesn't have a character attached to it. It says R. I can't read it. It's too small. Yeah, no. These events haven't been good for years, and I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. It's just stock inefficient, card inefficient. It's tempo efficient, but I don't think it is.
Actually, you're wrong. Killer Kill has been playing theirs.
Sorry?
You're wrong. Killer Kill has been playing theirs. So it's not like years. It's like a year ago.
Let me rephrase. Relevant decks in any metagame have not been playing this card.
I think Killer Kill has some relevance.
Yeah, okay, sure. And Railgun just won the North American WGP. What's your point? I mean,
My
sure,
point
if you
is
want
if
to argue...
Railgun can win WGP, Killer Kill can win WGP.
Well, the thing is, it's not even good in Kill the Kill. Like, a lot of people have been changing to the 1/0 Chihaya's camera event, because the only thing that's really worth spending the 1 stock on countering is, well, there's the 1/1, of course.
Combo.
And yeah, the climax. That one's too small to be able to defend itself naturally. And if you do that, you're not actually going to have another combo.
That's fine though. Like the deck doesn't really want to do early plays, so the counter putting up
Yeah, but
for later.
The deck
like,
is a compression deck, and this isn't actually beneficial for compression.
It's beneficial for compression because the marker from the Ryoko.
You lose a card and you lose a stock. That's usually worse than keeping the card on.
Well, you essentially keep 2 cards on the field, but you only plus.
Yeah, but you lose a card from your hand, which is not like it's barely relevant. Doesn't
we'll be
really
right
matter
back
anyway.
with the ReZero 2 overview.
With the Kill set overview.